From the DJC Collectible Studio, this is the Bill Russell of action figure collecting, Tom Peterson. And now a guy that you could not pay me enough money to come on his show, I give you Kyle Peterson.
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, episode 16 of the Kyle Peterson Show, and we got a special guest here today. We got my wife, Angie. Angie, you've never looked better.
Thank you very much.
That's right. No, it is, of course, the announcer of the Kyle Peterson Show. Probably your most famous gig.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
And we'll get into that in a little bit. It is Midwest professional wrestling legend, Gage Octane. Gage Octane,
man.
How are you?
I'm okay. You know, I was going to wear the exact same swimsuit.
I knew where
I
this
have that
going.
exact same top, but Angie wore it last week, so
just ruined it. Yep.
I guess
Angie,
I had to wear something different. So thanks, Angie.
Yep. Angie went straight from the pool into everybody's hearts at the weekly purchases not too long ago. And I've heard a lot of feedback about that one. And I'm just like, you know, it's what she wears to the pool. It's just a bathing suit. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? And that's why you were going to wear it too. But
I was, but I'm straight from the cubicle now, I guess.
You know. Straight from the cubicle, She-Ra himself over here, of course. And we'll get into that as well. But Angie is missed this week. Of course, she is out in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and hopefully not getting too much brotherly love out there. Hopefully not too much. Who knows? But she's been chiming in with some photos. She saw the Liberty Bell. You ever seen the Liberty Bell?
I have not.
Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No,
me neither. You never got booked in ECW back in the day?
Never.
Well, we'll talk about that more too.
Wish
here.
I did.
We'll get to it. We're going to get to it. We got a lot to talk about this guy. A local legend, a Midwest legend, a hero of mine.
Wow.
And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it here today. But I appreciate you coming here and filling in. I need all the help I can get. So.
Happy to do it, man.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into a lot of stuff with one Gage Octane. We even got a little special Gage Octane Q&A later on in this very episode here. But before we get into all this stuff, we got to plug our sponsor. And I got to give a special shout out to DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. And I know Gage Octane has used
I've definitely
that code
done
before.
That.
He has.
Man, some stuff early.
Passed it in. Yeah, there's a lot of G.I. Joe classified early, of course. And we were combining orders to save on shipping a lot too. And so you gotta work smarter in the figure game, as we do know. So we got to shout out DJC Collectibles for helping us out. And I got to give a special shout out to my dad, my dear old dad. He's too busy to be on the channel. He's too busy to be a guest host on here, but he was nice enough to take over your duties this week as the announcer, of course, of the Kyle Peterson Show. So shout out to my dad out there. So I appreciate him. And like I said, Angie is gone. She will be back next week, but this week, probably the best episode ever. And I'm going to tell you, she's very concerned that the views will be higher. And I think there's a little bit of the old Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory here, is I think she did do the pool outfit trying to get people to remember her and trying to steal a little of your thunder. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah, I mean, if the subs drop a little bit this week, then we'll know she's right.
They wouldn't have, because the pool thing got a lot of people. So it's just a whole conspiracy there. But I appreciate you stepping in here. So we got a heck of a lot to talk about. But before we get to all that, you gave me this idea the other day. Of course, good brother, Gage Octane right here, fellow WWE Superstars collector, of course.
Yes, sir.
And once again, we'll get more into that here in a little bit. And I got crazy because I found the shipper, and I've been helping you out. I got a few things for you, and I was going crazy. And of course, the Great Muta, and I do have that Great Muta right here.
Oh, baby.
Great Muta regular edition. Regular. We both need that chase. It's going to be a throwdown in the aisle. He's going to finish me with it. But I did have an extra one of these, and I thought maybe, I was like, well, I'll ask you if you want to double up. And I think it's a bold decision not to double up on this one.
I can't do it.
I feel like he's going to regret it, because there's two heads in here. And you know what, Great Muta? Two heads are better than one.
You know, maybe I do need that one. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the thing. We're going to give this away, and you can enter the giveaway. So maybe you will win. Who knows?
All right, what do I need to do?
So
talk me into it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give this Muta away. I was thinking about taking it back, and then you said, hey, you should just give it away on the channel. I said, perfect. I'll give it away in this episode, and we will pull the winner next week, or in the next episode, we'll announce the winner. But here's what they got to do to win this Great Muta. You got to go to wherever you listen to this podcast. I don't care where it is. Amazon, Apple. Do you listen to podcasts? Outside of mine, of course.
Sure I do.
Yeah, sure you do. So,
so yours all the time.
All the time. All the platforms, too.
At least the intro.
At least the intro. And after that, it's over.
You didn't make me sound
That makes
terrible.
sense. That makes sense. But we, wherever podcasts are found, Amazon, Spotify, Apple, wherever it may be, give it a 5-star review. And if you don't want to, you just won't win. You can give a 4-star if you want. You can give a 0 if you want, but you just won't be entered to win, unfortunately. But if you do a 5-star review, give it a little screenshot, email that screenshot, email the review to the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, and I'll pull the name out of the hat for one person to win this. So,
I don't know how anybody would not give you a 5-star review, though.
Especially after this episode.
Hey, we'll try. I'll try not to screw it all up.
So we are going to give away a great Buddha. So that's a good giveaway. If it takes 2 seconds to give 5-star and screenshot it and say, I like this a whole lot or something.
Yep.
Or whatever. But send it to the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. But that's it for housekeeping. That's it on my notes right here. And now we got to dive in. We're going to go deeper than we've ever went with Gage Octane. Are you ready to go deeper? I got a little jelly over here that'll help us along the way. So be ready for that.
I might need that.
You might need that, but it is time for a deeper dive. All right, time to go deeper, Gage Octane style here today, and he's ready. He's all ready to go. He's got the pillow ready. He's ready to do it.
I might need that.
I
might need that afterwards.
You might need that
underneath.
But usually we do a deeper dive where we dive into maybe a topic. Last week it was top 5 candy bars, which is a fun one. Oh, it was a fun one. A lot of people resonate with that one. But we go deeper into a topic. Sometimes it's distribution issues, like with the Superstars line. We've talked about that. But today, since we got this special guest, and you're the first ever guest and co-host, I guess, both ever on this Kyle Peterson Show podcast. So shout out to you. But we're going to go deeper. We're going to get to know Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane a little bit more here today. And he's a man of many talents, many hobbies, many things. And we're going to dive into it. And I guess since you are a Midwest professional wrestling legend, we better start off with wrestling. That's where we're going to go. Now,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
We won't have to drain your entire childhood watching wrestling, but obviously I'm guessing, you're, I don't know, 30 years older than me, 40 years older?
At least 40 years older than you. Yeah.
But I am assuming you came into being a fan of professional wrestling in the 80s?
In the 80s, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, any memories that your first wrestling memories? Can you think of it?
Yeah. A lot of it involved like wrestling with my buddies on the playground. So 5th grade.
Not wrestling buddies, actual buddies.
Buddies.
On the old playground.
The
dangerous place. A dangerous place. Especially in the 80s. I was there.
Look out for the monkey bars.
100%.
This would have been Longfellow Elementary School in Clinton, Iowa. Grew up in Clinton, Iowa.
Beautiful this time of year.
Beautiful. It smells.
Beautiful.
It doesn't look. I don't know. Yeah.
Clinton. Beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there.
You can
smell it from there. Lovely city, though.
Yes,
lovely city. It's
beautiful.
my hometown. Yeah, I would wrestle with my buddies outside of Longfellow Elementary School. We'd get together for pay-per-views. I don't know if they were closed captioned at the time. I don't know what it was called. CCTV or something. It wasn't pay-per-view, and we didn't have the WWF network or anything like that. I remember a black box maybe that somebody had, and you could get them. I don't know if we're outside of the statute of limitations.
I think you're okay.
Okay, we're good now. But yeah, we would get together, watch pay-per-views, and throw each other around in the playground.
Do you ever remember the first wrestling match you ever remember seeing on TV?
I don't know that I remember the first match I saw on TV. I want to say Demolition was real early. Like I didn't really start watching. I think I got into it like in 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade. And I really didn't get really deep into it until like the 90s. With all the gimmick characters and stuff. And that was when I was like super into it. Yeah, all in.
Because it's fuzzy for me. I came in somewhere the summer of, obviously, you go to school and summers are off. But somewhere in that summer, I came into it after WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
So Hogan, Andre had already happened, all that. I remember renting that on VHS, and I had to have been like kindergarten or 1st grade.
Okay, you were way earlier than me.
Yeah, so I was earlier. So I just remember that summer and catching it. And like, back then, you know just as well as I did, like 10 channels or whatever. And and you would like catch part of it. You'd flip through and it might have started you might have got it 45 minutes in. And you're like, is this on at the same time? And sometimes like Superstars Challenge, it would bounce around. One week it's on Fox and it's on NBC. It seemed like it jumped over. So it was like hard to pin down.
Right.
And then Saturday night's main event and stuff like that. But for some reason, I remember like the Powers of Pain that sticks out early for me with Mr. Fuji. But I don't know, somewhere in that time frame, and I was kind of the same way. It came on school, everybody at school, and that's how I heard about it. You heard this wrestling thing and all this. People were talking about this dastardly Hulk Hogan, and I knew that guy was no good from the get-go there.
That's right, baby.
So you came into wrestling.
Big stinky giant. Yeah.
So you got into wrestling then early too, but then the 90s is where it really went. So like
totally.
Probably like the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels era just lift off from there.
Bret Hart, my favorite wrestler of all time. I really loved Mr. Perfect. You know, those guys.
Yeah.
I liked all the weird gimmicks too, like the Duke the Dumpster Drosy and you know all that kind of stuff.
We shouldn't bring him up. Didn't he just get? Did you hear about this?
No.
But yeah, this is your favorite. So I've always thought you and Duke are very similar talents, but I think he got busted for child pornography just recently.
Oh, I'm out on that one.
You hate that guy. You hate that guy.
No, forget it. Forget I even like
He got something like that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's
that's rough.
Went to court or what. But unfortunately, Duke the Dumpster is going to be in the dumpster for a while. It sounds like,
not good.
Unfortunately. Not good. You never want that stink on you. That's for sure.
No, sir.
Don't. Pun intended with Duke the Dumpster Drosy. So it's so funny that you enjoyed that era because that was very close to me bailing on wrestling around that area.
All right.
So I was did you watch WCW back then?
I did a little bit.
Okay. So I was
little.
I was big into it and nobody else really liked it on the old playground, that dangerous playground. Nobody understood or did it, but I watched anything I could find wrestling. Anything I could find watching. And I was hanging on by a lifeline. WCW kept me afloat a lot during that era with like the Dangerous Alliance into some of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But when everybody started getting these second jobs, like, what the heck is going on here? What is this? But luckily, I ended up getting big into ECW tape trading. And without ECW, I probably would have jumped out of wrestling. And it helped me float through those lean years until it hit the Attitude Era. But it's interesting. There's a few good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson. He was in the same boat as you. He also enjoyed kind of that 90s early gimmicky stuff where you went from the classic Hogan Andre era into the time between, of course, the Attitude Era, basically.
Right. I think for me, it was more like I got it, that it was an entertainment form, form of entertainment. It's not like we're actually trying to kill each other here. And, you know, the garbage man is trying to kill the repo man, you know? So I got it.
Did you ever have a time where you really believed that wrestling was 100% legit? Like,
no, I think because I got in later. I think if it was like, you know, kindergarten, first grade, I might have thought, you know, wow.
I remember kindergarten, first grade when I got into it, my dad immediately came in and said, you know, this is all fake, right?
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, oh, what? No, it can't be.
What's next? Me? No Easter Bunny?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
that's not real.
And Santa was just a nightmare for me. I refused to believe it. It was hard times. And I'll tell that story one of these days on the podcast here. But but I, unfortunately, I wish I could have had the magic for at least a little while to think it was like on the up and up. But from the minute, like literally the first time, my dad just told me and just ruined it. But man, he had a big falling out with Greg Gagne once upon a time. And I don't know if you've been in touch with this Power Town situation. I don't know if you've heard of these figures and stuff.
I've heard of it through you.
You don't want to hear any more about it. But it's funny, all these years later, the Gagne family and the Peterson family, they got beef, of course. And, you know, if Vern Gagne was still around, my dad and I would challenge him to a tag team match. You would be a perfect guest referee for that.
Okay. Yeah.
The Gagnes versus the Petersons. I mean, I don't know. My bet's on the Petersons all day long.
There you go.
Gagne another day. But so you got into wrestling. Obviously, you probably loved it through the Attitude Era, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody did.
And I was in like high school at that point, so it was like we were all in.
So you were just living the dream. So when did you decide, at what age did you say, I'm going to train to be a wrestler? Now you did backyard wrestling, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that I was going to say, like in the 90s, my buddies and I, shout out to Paul Phoenix and little sexy Ace Sadoff, we started the Clinton Wrestling Federation in Clinton, Iowa.
Very prestigious to this day.
Very prestigious. I would love to, I have all the videos on tape. I would love to put those on YouTube at some point. But we had a trampoline with a bunch of bed mattresses under the bottom of it, so it would like kind of stop, you know, when you landed instead of bounce. And we did that for about a year, and then we put in posts in the ground, like concreted them into the ground.
Was this your yard?
This was my dad's property outside.
Okay. That's right.
There's a big barn and stuff. We called it the Barn Arena.
Okay.
It was down in a ravine. We had to clean all the like sticks and branches off it anytime we wanted to do anything. 6 posts all the way around, ran ropes around. So we had a 6-sided ring.
Oh, before it was cool.
Like 94, 95.
Oh, look at this. Where's your royalties?
I don't know, man.
Jeff Jarrett, you brought him in for a shot, and he stole the idea.
I don't know, man. Yeah, we did that for a while. I went off to college, and we started like at University of Northern Iowa. I was a theater major.
You and I, baby.
Yeah, I was a theater performance major. I don't know what theater has anything to do with professional wrestling.
You know what the most famous professional wrestler that ever went to UNI is, of course. This might blow your mind.
That would be Jim Hellwig, wouldn't it?
Didn't he go? He never went there. A lot of people
didn't.
Said
I thought maybe that was just a rumor.
But there's very similar though on the same
same
thing. The Warlord, my dad's favorite wrestler.
He's a UNI.
He played at UNI. Yes. I didn't know that until a couple of years ago.
No idea.
Who knew? I think you guys were there at different times,
I think a little bit, yeah.
He would have killed everybody in your guys' backyard.
I wish we had him up there for the Cedar Falls Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, that would have
been awesome. But
now, I believe, is this connecting the dots here? I believe Torturous Tony Sly, of course, once upon a time, another Midwest professional wrestling legend. Not quite to the Octane levels, of course.
Oh,
but,
no.
No, but I think he was part of that too, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Okay.
He started a little bit after, but he got all in and he went on to get trained and he's done the actual thing for a while. Brian Ash, another guy.
Another Midwest professional wrestling legend, of course.
Beautiful Brent Fillmore.
Yes.
There was, let's see, the late, great Ian McMurphy. He was out of Chicago. He went on and got trained. But yeah, there was
he did some shots for IPW along the way, didn't he? Yeah,
I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think he did. I think I seen him too. So that's interesting. So then you went there, and now you did the right thing. You didn't drop out of school and say, I'm going with this wrestling gym. I'm going to finish my degree. Yeah,
my theater performance degree. That'll really pay the bills.
It's paid off. We're going to get into that. It's paid off. It's paid off.
Occasionally.
We're going to get off to that. But okay, so you wrestled through college with all that. So then when did you make the decision that, I'm going to go beyond backyard?
That was around 1999 because Brian, he looks like a wrestler. I mean, back in the day, he looked like, he still kind of does, but.
Yeah, Brian, how tall is Brian? 6'5"?
I don't know, 6'5" at the time, like 275.
Bald head, big singlet.
Looked like he could kill anybody. So he's like, hey, Harley Race has a school down in Missouri. You guys want to try out for Harley School? He asked me and Matt at the time, and we're like, hell no, I'm not going to look at me. I'm like, I was never a big guy. I was never a muscular dude.
The one thing about you, though, you're not one of the little flippity guys that I was
Sure. Kind
and
of
you're not the big giant guy, but you're like in that Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, that kind of mid window. And I think that's the key to a lot of your Midwest professional. That's how you got that key, because you worked with all the different sized guys and you were kind of the utility guy that could work with anybody.
Yep. Yeah.
So, not to toot your horn too much.
not
too much.
That's super nice of you to say that. But yeah, we went down, we traveled down to Eldon, Missouri and had the old tryout for Harley, and the ring was super. I mean, you might as well take a bump on the trailer it comes on. But I think it's on purpose because they don't want just anybody to come in. They want to see what you got, you know, if you can take it. So we got in their class and we started training. About a month after we tried out for Harley, we went down to Ocala, Florida. For
that's what I was thinking.
Dory Funk Jr.
That's
Funk
right.
Conservatory.
Yes, now that is amazing. So now
that was a fun trip.
Now we actually got a question of the week that's going to be about Harley. So we'll talk some of that more there too. But we'll talk now too. But obviously with Terry Funk being my all-time favorite and Dory Funk being semi-related to
semi-related,
I think so. Brothers maybe. So
they're sort of related.
So how long were you at the Harley thing for?
Harley's roughly? I was there from about November 99 through February 2000, and I broke my leg bad in his training ring. So before we even got on shows, I broke my leg, but we were like right before we were going to start being on shows. So it was like, just heal up and let's see what happens in 6 to 8 weeks.
So then why did you decide to leave Harley instead of staying there to go to Ocala to Dory, the Funk Conservatory? And it's interesting because Harley and Dory both have a little bit of polarizing wives.
Well, you don't say.
So it's kind of funny how that is. And I'm sure you have stories probably you don't want to tell here about both of them.
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, both sweet ladies.
BJ, was that her name?
She was sweet. Yeah, she was very sweet.
I had a couple of run-ins with BJ, and many a times just before.
Maybe you got some stories for me off air.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
But Harley. I got around Harley a lot because of Impact Pro Wrestling. You know that. You worked for them as well. But they brought Harley up a lot with his guys. And I don't know what years would have that been. 04, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah, around there.
Somewhere around there. And I'll never forget there was a show in Humboldt. I don't know if you were probably not on that show at that time, I don't think.
I don't know, maybe.
I think that was your 3X journey.
Okay.
During that time, probably. And we'll get to that, too. But I'll never forget, I probably told this story before, but I'll never forget, Harley had like a Chevy Avalanche truck. And I think it was white. And I remember it was at the Humboldt Fairgrounds. I don't know if you've ever wrestled there before, but you can imagine.
Probably.
You can imagine a country fairgrounds. And I'll never forget Harley. I'm sitting there and I'm, kind of hanging around with everybody. Yep. And the matches are going on and, it's outside. And all of a sudden the gate opens and Harley drives the Avalanche like right up and like parks, like here's the ring. He parks right
next to it.
Like this he has no walking distance, no nothing.
Smart.
And you can imagine getting out of the car, Harley Race, the big guy coming here to town. Like nobody cared about that match.
Nobody.
Everybody laughed.
That sounds so about
funny.
right.
And Harley, I think he had a cigarette. Just going out and
driving 120 miles an hour all the way here.
And he had, I know at the time, I think Brian Breaker was there, and he does the TV Toy Cast, and he's one of the,
okay.
So he was trained by Harley and all that. So it's funny how but he's got some Harley stories for days because he was with him for a long time. But I think Simon Gotch was there too, I believe, at the time. You remember him at all?
I don't.
From the Vaudevillians, you didn't watch.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I think he was on that show too. But anyways, Harley just stole the show there, and he said to everybody, "Best in sports." You ever remember him saying that?
Oh yeah, everything. Like I had him sign something before I was done with him, and it was best in sports. Yeah.
And I got a picture with Harley, and I met him. I mean, I met him a bunch of times, but I remember just every autograph just saying "best in sports," and I was like, "What does that really mean?"
Yeah, it's like best wishes, but in sports.
And I've signed a couple autographs in my life, and I have signed a few best in sports just to kind of make myself laugh.
Tiptoeing over
and
that.
I felt like Harley has since passed away, unfortunately, and I feel like if he was still alive, I wouldn't have done that. Because people would get confused, obviously.
Yeah.
But now,
is this Harley races? Yeah.
So it's funny, but so you were with Harley for a little bit, and I'm sure was Harley around? Was he the head trainer at the time, or was there other people training with him?
No, Harley was. To answer your earlier question, the Harley Dory thing, they kind of overlapped. So we would drive down. We just did like a week-long camp with Dory. So it was kind of like a one thing, and then we went back to Harley's.
Well, I'm sure Harley probably was like, you got to go down here, get a little training down there, helping each other out. I'm sure they did vice versas, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, it could be. Down at Dory's, though, Chris Hero in our class.
Oh, okay. At a young Chris Hero.
A young Chris Hero. He was a super nice guy. Let's see. So what was the question now? Now I've confused myself.
It was just basically like, so we were at Harley, so then you went down there for a couple of weeks, and then I guess any memories from the Dory time?
So the Harley...
Any memories of Marty Funk?
Yes.
No, but any memories down there? Down there.
I'll tell you off. I know. I remember the Golden Corral Buffet.
Oh.
I remember we went down with, so it was Brian Ash, beautiful Brent Fillmore, and Paul Phoenix, and myself, all in a car, drove 24 hours down there. They had awesome catering, breakfast, lunch, and then you were on your own for dinner. My buddy Paul Phoenix, he would not eat anything. So he just had a bunch of cans of tuna.
Oh, jeez.
He didn't want to eat anything.
Was he a body guy?
No, none of us were really. I mean, none of us. Probably beautiful Brent Fillmore was the bodiest guy of them all, but he would just have cans of tuna for lunch because he didn't want to eat so much after before doing a bunch of forward rolls. That apparently we did a lot of forward rolls. I got myself somehow into the advanced class, so that was kind of cool.
With Chris Hero.
With Chris, he wasn't in the beginner class.
No.
So we had to do fewer forward rolls. There was a lot more working out spots, but. The first kind of match I ever had was let's see, Bill Alfonso reffed it.
Oh,
and
look at that.
It was on a
right down the middle, Daddy. That's
right down the middle.
You could have been Sabu if you would have played your cards right.
Hey,
just wouldn't do the death matches, would you?
I couldn't do it. I didn't like to bleed, but yeah, and that's on. I put that on YouTube on the old Gage Octane YouTube channel.
We're gonna have to plug it. Plug away.
I don't even know what to. There's barely anything on it right now, but yeah. So having Bill Alfonso there was like, wow, this dude's working for ECW right now, and he's refereeing this match in a handball court. It was
like High Lie.
Awesome. Yeah, it was like the ring barely fit in the court, but it was the space we had. And that's where we worked out, and it was super cool.
So then you did the little stint down there, get some training from Harley, get some training from Dory, and then where did you go from there?
Broke my leg. So to the hospital.
Okay, perfect.
Plate and 9 screws in that bad boy. It was a tibial plateau fracture.
Now, does it give you any pain all these years later?
Yes. In fact, I'm starting to feel it now, but it was close enough to the joint that they had to take the hardware out after it healed. So it was quite a long, you recover. Okay, ready to go again. Oh, by the way, you got to get it. We're going to cut you open again and take it off, and you got 6 more weeks of healing. So
did you have any thoughts at that time of hanging it up?
No, I really liked it. I thought if it was my neck or something, maybe, but the leg, that'll heal. So I kind of had fallen away from Harley, and that opportunity maybe dried up a little bit, or I didn't reach out again. Maybe that was the problem, and say, hey, do you need anybody for your shows? So I got in with a couple guys, Travis Shillington.
Yep.
TS
Aggressor.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't use his government name.
Yes.
TS Aggressor.
And, funny story about TS Aggressor. The first time I ever saw him was at the Hall of Fame in Newton back in the day.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I saw him wrestle, remember he used to wear that like wig?
Yes.
And
the Thrill Cat?
No, not that.
Oh, I shouldn't out of his Thrill Cat.
Yeah,
either.
what are you doing? You're spilling all the
see
secrets.
You later.
All the
Midwest.
tea. He's spilling all the Midwest wrestling legends gimmicks here. This is not an RF video shoot interview.
Sorry, TS. He totally was not Thrill Cat.
He used to have like a do-rag, and then he had like a blonde little wig.
Okay, I don't remember that.
So you were probably on that show, I would think, maybe. It's probably like 03. I don't know.
Or I've been hitting the head a lot.
Yeah, it blurs. But anyways, I thought that was his hair, and then he started wrestling, and it came off. I'm like, oh my gosh, he fooled me.
Yes.
Anyway, so you went TS Aggressor.
TS, and I got in with Jim. I think he pronounced it Gagne, but it was spelled Gagnon up in Wisconsin. We did a bunch up there. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife, the Midwest professional wrestling valet legend.
Yeah,
Vixen.
there you go. Vixen.
She would travel with us. Beautiful Brent Fillmore. We did like it's called the Prep Boys gimmick where we dressed like the Mean Street Posse is really what it was. But
and now the Second Coming stole that from you, didn't they?
I don't know if they stole it.
But I think there was a lot of talking about, and this is once again another tag team in the Midwest from back in the day. And of course, good friend of the channel, Devin Carter, lives right around the corner. What's he doing?
Delicious.
Where
Devin
is he?
Carter,
Can we get you over here? Come on, you never hear from him.
Man, what's the deal with that?
I see him walking every once in a while. You honk the horn at him, but I think the Second Coming stole that because I remember hearing that once upon a time. There was some heat around there. Maybe you were oblivious to it. But
I did not know that. No. Yes. So we did that for a while. I got in with Ed Hellier up in Steel Domain Wrestling. And famously, that's kind of CM Punk has wrestled there. Ace Steel, a couple of guys like that. Those are fairly, I'll name drop a little bit there. But they were great to work with up in Minnesota. I got in with like Derek Stone and Craig Kiesman down in Missouri.
Yeah.
So I kind of made my connections so I could go, everywhere.
That was kind of the spider web of Midwest professional wrestling legend.
Now it's all legend. Yeah.
So yeah, you worked that whole circuit for a while, and then I think I came into you.
Excuse me. Yes. We are going deep.
I think so. We are.
I'll see you later.
But I had to have been around 04 or something like that. I think is where I first started you. And then
I believe you.
I really saw. I think, and the first time we ever really hung out was coming back from the first ever CEW wrestling show.
Oh my gosh.
And okay. It was like, I want to say it was in some old gym, like Kyoto or something, maybe. I don't know where it was. Do you remember?
Delta or Kyoto or something like that.
Maybe, or something down there. But I remember Juan Montoya X.
Yep.
He did a leap off like balcony in that show. I remember that.
Yes.
So I don't remember where that was. But
I might have worked Devin Carter there.
I think you might have. And we all drove, and you did, because we all drove together to that show.
Okay.
And I remember saying, when we were pulling to the parking lot, I think you were in the back, saying, you better get down. These people are going to ride if they see you two in the same car.
Man,
you can't be doing that.
I do not remember any of this, but I'm glad you're here.
I remember.
Because I can't remember.
And I remember the show. I don't remember your match or anything like that, but I remember I had famous nachos. Of course, these wrestling independent, you always get the walking taco nachos with the liquid cheese, of course. Good eating, of course, as we know. So I remember getting that, and it worked out okay for me.
So is that like you go, hey, they go, do you want cheese on this? And you go, no, just put that liquidy yellow crap you put on everybody else's.
And then they give you about 50 pumps on that. It's like, that's too much. But anyways, I remember the drive home, though. It was a late night drive because we went to one of those bars afterwards, I remember, and did what we had to do at those bars, of course.
Yep.
You were a married man by then, I believe.
Could be. It would have been, let's see. If it was 04, then I was married in 02. So
okay, so you were married. So you were on best behavior, of course.
Always.
I think I was probably playing the field at the time.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Okay.
I got with Angie at the end of 04, but I think this was before Angie. This predated, because she probably would have came along if she was up for a good time at the wrestling shows back then.
Yeah.
We'll never forget the first ever 3XW show with Billy Gunn.
Oh yeah.
And Billy Gunn was all over Angie, trying to hook up and stuff. And then she said, "No, that's my boyfriend." And then he just gave me give me one of those kind of things, give me the fist bump and stuff, and
respect.
Old Billy, but I'll never forget that night. That was where we first kind of hung out in the drive, and it was probably, what is that, 2.5 hour drive, something like that.
Yep.
But we bonded over our mutual love of Coast to Coast AM on the way back.
Oh baby!
And we were just hoping it was going to be a good episode. Yes, because Coast to Coast is either really good or absolutely god awful. That's what it is. It's like, we're going to talk about the stock market tonight. It's like, are you kidding me? They're talking about, we want to hear about aliens, a ghost, Bigfoot. We want to hear that kind of stuff. But
yes,
we did a lot of that on the way home. And I felt like we stopped in Oskaloosa, a small town, and we got dinner or something to eat on there, like a McDonald's or something like that. But that's all I remember. So it was a great trip.
Those are some details.
Those are some details.
You have not been hitting the head very many times, have you?
Not enough.
Okay.
Not enough.
Yeah.
But that was kind of, so that was the first time. But then after that, I think is where 3XW really started taking off. And that's pretty much where it became your local promotion at the time.
Yep.
And you pretty much honed in. And I really can't blame you because it was in central area you live in. So you didn't have to travel. So it was easy. You know, you could leave 20 minutes before showtime.
Well, that's kind of like when I was starting out early on. I don't think I wrestled in Iowa at all. Yeah. Maybe a little bit for TS dropped his real government name again. Maybe a little bit for TS, but it was mostly like Wisconsin, Minnesota. There was a little bit in South Dakota, you know, Illinois, kind of. Yeah. But nothing in Iowa. And then Iowa stuff started popping up, and I'm going, well, this is kind of nice. I don't have to drive anywhere. And I was, you know, newly married at the time, I guess. Yeah. And it's like, I kind of want to stick around home if I can. And I had other interests, and, you know, I did like theater and stuff like that. And I like to do that. And
so that worked out. It was very nice to be able to. And you pretty much stopped a lot of bookings elsewhere. I mean, I think you took an occasional, but pretty few and far between. It was pretty much just 3X at that time. And 3X was really on the rise in the central Iowa area, of course, at the time. And then I remember your famous time as a member of the Blue Chippers, of course.
Yep. Yeah.
That was one of your stables you were part of. And I believe you were their champion for quite some time.
I was. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And that's where the legend of Gage Octane really grew to a lot of people. Me sitting out in the crowds, hanging around, mingling. And I heard what the other boys, as they call them, the boys.
The boys.
I heard what they'd say about you. They would always say, he's the best. He's the best one
here.
And that's what they said. Right. And now they would probably never say that to your face because they don't want to feed your ego. And he's got a massive ego, let me tell you. Man. So I'm feeding it a little bit here, but that's what the people were always saying. And I always enjoyed your matches. And I know you had matches against good babysitter friend of the channel, Perry Saturn.
Yes.
You did. You wrestled a lot of guys, but Perry and you?
Perry was great, man. Yeah. I was scared to death. I think I wrestled him 3 times over several years, but the first time I was scared to death. I thought, you know, I knew that there was the stories about how he got maybe he got fired because he was roughed up a job guy, you know, and I was like, oh man, what's he going to do to me? Yep. And it's not even on TV. And what's he going to do? Super nice guy. He's like, would you mind if we did, you know, would you mind? What do you have? What do you want to do? You know, we talked through a lot of this stuff. He was super supportive of everything we wanted to do. He did hit me pretty damn hard with a chair. Like I thought I might have messed up, but I was like, thanks. You know, he's like, hey, thanks for that chair. And I was like, hey. But he took a receipt back. He's like, oh, I'm sure. He's like, just throw the chair right at my face. And I was like, I'm not throwing the chair at your face. Make sure the flat sides. Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to throw the chair at your face. He's like, just throw it. So like, okay, it was after he hit me in the back. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm throwing the chair at his face. Well, so that was smart on his move to hit me. Put a little more mustard on it.
Did you get the win?
Did I get the win?
Count out win, maybe DQ.
Did I get the win? I don't know. I have to go back and watch that.
I have to see. He's been hitting the head a few times, of course. Once again,
I have been. I like
Perry.
I think I was the champ at the one I'm thinking of. We did a table spot, a little superplex off the top rope through the table. That was it might have been a schmaz. Like I think we had a run in because I was the champ at the time. That might have been New Era Wrestling.
Oh, okay. I thought he was in 3X though for
he was. Okay. I wrestled him in 3X. Okay,
that's what I thought too.
I think I wrestled him for Big Dog Barber. I think it was New Era Wrestling. I was their champ, so they brought Perry in, wrestled him there. I wrestled him at for Impact Pro for TS. Yep.
Delta.
Yeah. Almost. So that was like a tag match, I think, and then for 3X.
Yeah. Okay, so you got around. You got around with Perry.
I got around with Perry.
And
got deep inside Perry, whatever.
And my thing with Perry, of course, was I was at a party one time at Troy's house. And Troy, shout out Troy. Hey. Perry babysat my daughter, who was like 6 months at the time. I said, we're going to the store. And he said, oh, watch her. And he took her. And,
heck yeah. And he's a great guy.
And I let Perry have Elle for like an hour or something. And there was no issues. No issues.
No,
the baby whisperer, Perry Saturn.
Super nice,
but
dude.
Am I dreaming, or did you have matches against like Jerry Lynn too?
I did, and I think so. Good friend David C. Anderson was my manager.
He was. David C. Anderson, good friend of the channel, was the manager of the Blue Chippers. I forgot to mention that. So So you had a lot of Jerry Lynn. Who else? You had to wrestle a few other people.
The list is endless. Perry Saturn, Jerry Lynn. The list is endless. I don't know if there. I mean,
I felt like there was some Scotty Too Hottie.
I never wrestled him.
Okay.
No.
Who else am I thinking of that came through there?
I did wrestle. I guess kind of Tyler Black.
Tyler Black. Seth Rollins. He was in 3X for a long time there.
I mean, we had a couple spots together.
And I'll never forget. and you were probably there at the time, the Des Moines Social Club.
Yes.
They used to have shows there, and he was there one time.
Yep. That was the one. That was the one.
Was that the one, or was it IP? I can't remember where it was.
He was Ring of Honor champ at the time.
Okay,
I think,
this is IPW. I think I'm thinking of way back when we was just starting, and I remember going in the back, and I remember he was in the back, and I think I asked Troy or Terry, maybe. I'm just throwing names out there. It was like, who are these guys?
Who are they?
But I remember he was reading Harry Potter in the back.
Okay.
He was reading the Harry Potter book. And I'm like, who's the dork in the corner reading Harry Potter?
And then here we go.
And now here he is. He got the last laugh. And he's probably still reading Harry Potter to this day.
Absolutely. I hope so.
I'll never forget it. But
folks. Read
He
books.
was just a young, skinny, long hair back then.
Yeah,
I
of
remember
course.
that. I remember those days. So interesting times. But then C3X, you were champion a few times, bunch of titles over there and all that. And then where did you go after 3X?
Nowhere. Yeah, that's really it.
So you did spot, like, you wrestled how long ago? A year ago? Year and a half ago?
No. Oh,
you came
man.
back for
the
final battle royal, or what was that?
That might have been. I did a couple of 20-year, 30-year reunion, anniversary shows. One for TS up in Algona, and then another one at Forte here in Des Moines
that's
for
what
Troy.
I'm thinking of.
That's the one, yeah.
I guess that might have been 3 or 4 years ago.
It could have been like 4 or 5 years ago.
My gosh.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
What is time?
And that was, I think I did a couple of, one with one of his new guys, and I cannot remember what the dude's name is. And then it was like an elimination thing, like a gauntlet thing. And then we worked out a couple of spots with me and Juan. Oh, can't say Juan for no, can I? Is that his
Thunder?
Latin Thunder, thank you.
Latin
Throwing
Thunder?
Everybody's government names out here. Latin Thunder, yeah. Lovely man.
Lovely man.
Great
I know
worker.
him too, yes.
I could not keep up with, I was like, I should not be doing this anymore because we did.
And he's
just
a lot
couple of
older than
things.
you.
A lot older, and he's in fantastic shape.
Still today, I still see him around in Muscatine. Shout out to Muscatine, Iowa.
Yep.
Beautiful this time. You're like Clinton, but different.
Like Clinton, yeah.
but
So
different.
It was fun. I loved talking with all the boys in the back, but I did not have the gas anymore.
So I guess that's the $1 million question. I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Yep.
Are you officially retired? Can we officially say you're retired forever, or is there a never say never?
I think there's a never say never. There's occasional like, hey, we're having an X anniversary show. Would you want to come do this? And then I might get a call. Let's say hypothetically, you get a call from somebody that goes, "Are you going to do this?" Because so-and-so asked me if I wanted to do it. And I'm like, are you going to do this?
Okay. Power and numbers.
Can we walk around and like not fall down or do anything? And I don't know if we can do that. So never say never.
Never say never. And do you need a manager? I'm real good at managing.
Hey, you want in?
We might do it. We
You
might
want
do
in?
it.
All
We'll
right.
film it too, of course.
Okay.
Now, one other thing I forgot to mention too is I'll never forget I was watching Monday Night Raw one night. I don't know how many years ago this was. What is time once again? And I saw an EMT.
Yes.
It looked awfully lot like you.
Man, real close to me. Yeah,
I think did. I thought for sure.
That was, it was right before COVID. So it was like December, let's see.
Was Braun Strowman involved in that match, I
2019.
feel like, or something?
No, it was.
Somebody got laid out.
Umberto got laid out.
Alberto Del Rio?
No,
Or
Humberto.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was sooner than I thought.
Yep. So I had to haul him out. They had the actual paramedics teach us fake paramedics how to work the thing that the paramedics could just come out and do. But I think we were a little cheaper.
Oh, of course.
Than an actual.
Of course.
But I mean, these guys are here anyway. But I think with waivers and whatnot, it just makes sense that you go through all the motions with WWE and get cleared to do what you got to do, and
makes sense.
off you went. Funny story from that night though. We were sitting, all of us, and so back up. The way I got this gig. I know John Cone from.
That's true. That was another thing. Johnny Angel or something, right? John Cone back.
Yeah.
Just recently got his first ever action figure in package.
Yes, I
Two of
saw
them
that
in a chase.
I might have to get that one. I'm not really the newer stuff, but I might have to get that
Well, I know
one,
a discount code. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% at Ringside Collectibles.
Plug,
There you
baby.
go.
No, but John refereed for Harley, and then a lot of Derek's shows, a lot of the shows down in Missouri and Kansas that I was on. So we used him for stuff up in Iowa a lot. So I knew him, and then I knew he went on to do like talent relations and stuff like that. So I had a sort of contact, and I was like, look, man, I'm not like actively wrestling anymore, but if you need like a hot dog vendor to take a bump or something, or somebody to like play a medical professional, I'm your man. I do acting and stuff. So he got me in, and we were all sitting in they were picking out matches and stuff. And Devon Dudley was looking at us, and he goes, "Hey, you, stand up." They were looking for somebody for Eric Rowan to do the Eric Rowan stuff. And I was like, oh my God. So I stood up. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get my ass beat by Eric Rowan.
That's right.
And he goes, sit down, you're too big. And I was like,
perfect.
Gage Octane, too big for WWE. I'll put it on the resume.
There you go.
So that's how that all came.
I'll never forget. I was in the audience that night. And I was like, wait a minute. I was telling my wife, I was like, wait a minute. I know that EMT.
I know that bald EMT.
So I wanted to bring that up. So I'm glad we got there.
Yeah.
So that's it. So for now, you're just waiting for the next booking.
I'm waiting for the call.
Waiting for that payday.
No.
If you want to come.
I think I'm done.
You think so, but you never know. There could be.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. But now it's a perfect segue from wrestling here. Look at this. We went 35 minutes.
Oh my God. Let's pick up the pace.
But
people stopped watching.
We got to get to this though, because of course you've segued. You talked about theater, acting, all that kind of stuff. And then I heard you just recently in a lottery commercial, a little voiceover work.
Yep.
So it's you're not just doing the voiceover for this, the high paying stuff. You're doing some of the littler stuff too.
I do the little peanut stuff. Yeah, no. Shout out to Dave Stuck at Radio Garage Productions in Urbandale. So he's been fantastic. Most of the stuff I do is like medical voiceover stuff and farming implements and stuff like that. But occasionally I get a Iowa lottery or something fun like that.
It all pays the same, or
it pays a little different. Yeah, it pays a little different.
Iowa lottery probably a little bit more, maybe.
Sometimes it's weird. I don't get it all actually, so I don't understand it.
The big thing that I enjoyed here recently, and you probably know where this is going, and this was filmed a couple of years ago, but it is officially on YouTube now, which is pretty darn cool. So you guys will be able to watch it. I'll put the link in here. But you were a part of the G.I. Joe movie with the Crimson Archer.
Yep, Crimson Archer.
So I guess before we get into it too much, let's just stop our conversation and let's play a little clip of one Midwest professional wrestling legend, Gage Octane, as your friend and mine, Shipwreck.
He's in a Motown mood.
And let me tell you, he's not taking requests. I wanted to hear hip to be square, but he grunted at me. So I guess he's not a huge Huey Lewis in the News fan, huh?
I don't understand how that Cobra lieutenant spotted me.
Because darkening your beard or shade was such a brilliant disguise.
Well, that looks like Shipwreck, but it can't be. His beard's not that dark.
Going undercover as Kenny Loggins again, huh?
Oh, you guys are a laugh riot.
Fess up, Shipwreck. You spotted a couple gray hairs and you ran out to grab a box by Manning.
And the hits just keep coming.
Did you consider shaving the beard, or did the girlfriend not approve?
What are you talking about?
Raw? Shipwreck want kisses, Raw?
Very funny. You guys don't give Spirit a hard time about his eagle.
That's because Spirit doesn't have a glamour shot of his eagle in his locker.
Well, Polly gives me something I can't get hanging around you guys.
What's that? Crackers?
Intelligent conversation.
Oh.
Well, gentlemen, I'd love to stick around and talk about the merits of parrot pillow talk all day, but I gotta report the snow job.
You're on the Himalayan mission.
Well, we can't all go to exotic Wisconsin.
The Himalayas get pretty cold, you know.
Yeah. What's your point?
All right, so there was Shipwreck himself. Now, I got some questions about this here.
Okay.
I enjoyed the movie. You were nice enough to invite my wife and I to the movie premiere of that, of course, at the theater.
Hey,
so it was
good brother moves.
Yes, it was quite the time. Being a Joe fan, I was all in it, and I was
Absolutely.
I was a little disappointed. I liked the guy, and I remember asking you, could you get the guy that played Flint? Could I talk to him? I just like that.
Yeah, there you go.
And I guess the biggest question of the movie was the guy that played Duke as terrible as Duke is in real life?
I think so.
I think so too. You know, I thought he was the weak
hate
sauce.
On Duke, man.
Man, that Duke. And I remember just
what
watching
did Duke
this.
do to you?
We
don't have time.
We don't have time.
Okay.
That's exactly right. I was going to tell you about it, but I thought Shipwreck was good, and if I remember correctly, Shipwreck's one of your favorite Joes. Is he your favorite Joe of all time?
I don't know if he's my favorite Joe of all time, but I do like Shipwreck.
Yeah, I loved Shipwreck as a kid too.
I was kind of sad they didn't put me in the the YMCA sailor suit, but
you were
that doesn't really fit.
You were the more later on Shipwreck, where you got the beanie, and it was a little bit more tough guy instead of stereotypical village people.
Right.
Shipwreck.
And I mean, they did have an Easter egg where we're picking out our outfits, and I do have the shirt that I'm like, well, what am I going to wear? And
that was good.
So
that was good.
That's in there at least a little bit.
And then how'd you get Shipwreck? Did they just say, here's the roles available, what would you like to read for? And you said, I think I look the most like Shipwreck.
Kind of. I think they asked me about Duke at first, so good thing I didn't do that, or I would never get this interview.
You wouldn't be here.
But when I had hair, they were like, we just need you to dye your hair blonde. And I was like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know if I want to do that. And knowing that now filming, knowing now what I, 3 years of dyeing my hair. The beard was enough.
Yeah.
Because like I was getting gray in the beard there, so we had to like dye it. But yeah, I was like, I think Duke was an option.
Terrible option. Last option.
Yeah.
Option
So
B.
Shipwreck sounded a lot more fun. And
Yeah,
he's one of the core.
Yeah,
in the
I
movie,
thought it was the perfect role for you. Actually, I think that was it worked good. I thought you did a good job in that movie. So I enjoyed watching that. Of course, Brent Fillmore was also in there as
Beautiful
Chuckles. He had a quick one there. Of course, he didn't want to go to Wisconsin. He wanted to go.
Just stole the show, man. Giving me grief about
giving
old
you a
Polly.
hard time, but that was a fun movie, and you guys like actually rented like the prison or something like that, the big penitentiary.
Yeah, so
they cleared the prisoners out and said, "Guys, go do your movie."
Yeah, the director Pierre Donetto, he played Snake Eyes in the movie, but he's also the producer director. They were able to get us into some awesome places like Fort Madison prison.
Dangerous place.
A dangerous place. We had it was kind of scary. Up in Boone, like where they have the helicopters, that base, we could get in there, but I mean they had to get through a lot of tape to get.
How long did you film that movie for? Like a couple of years, wasn't it?
It was 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it was a long
I want to say I did the read through, like the first, like, hey, come to Perkins down the road from here.
Oh,
that Perkins. And come read some of the script for us, and we'll see if you
eat some pancakes and read the
script.
Eat
some pancakes, read the script. The Grand Slam. No, that's Denny's. His Grand Slam, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that joke not going to land. Yeah, so that was like 2016, early. So like a decade later, it's out.
So here it is on YouTube, so you guys can watch the movie. If you're a Joe fan, it's definitely worth the watch. It's for sure.
So it was a fun. Eric Bench wrote it, and he's a dude I know through theater. He's all involved in that. Really funny script. I mean, it's not like it does have serious elements of action and stuff like that, but there's a lot of funny. There's a lot of, I mean, what we just saw, there was a lot of goofiness.
And there was talk of a sequel, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
Man, I don't know if I can do another 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm old now.
You're going to be
now
playing Admiral Flag or something by then. I don't know.
Yeah, give me another role. I'll shave.
I'm hoping. I remember at the time I was like, hey, if they need somebody to be Mercer, because Mercer's a sleeper for me. I said I'd love to be Mercer, but now I got long hair, so I don't know if that would work.
You got to be Zartan then.
Zartan. Maybe I could do it in the Mohawk. I'll do Ninja Force Zartan. Maybe.
There you go.
Zartan would be good. I mean,
you cut the locks.
I could be Monkey Wrench. That's who I want to be.
Okay.
I'll be Monkey Wrench. So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll stay tuned to that, of course. But that's not your only acting appearance. You've done voiceover work. You've done this, but you've been in a bunch of movies, and some of these I wasn't even aware of. But apparently they're on Tubi.
Yes.
Who know? Now Tubi, everybody's got access to Tubi here, so you can look up Midwest Professional Wrestling legend Gage Octane. But
yeah.
List some movies. Rattle them.
Okay, so there's Up on the Wooftop.
The Wooftop. I'm on the Wooftop too. We got some woofs in the backyard.
So, woof. That was one that
Christmas movie, I believe.
Yeah, a very specific genre, the talking dog Christmas movie.
Yes, you got to have that. You played the dad, right?
No, beautiful Brent Fillmore played the dad.
Did?
Yeah, he did.
I played
it. I played the a-hole boss of beautiful Brent Fillmore.
Why was I thinking? I don't know. Anyways, okay.
I don't know.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
That was a fun one. Actually, the dude that directed that just did the Sabu documentary, Joe Clark, and he did the RVD one recently, Joe Clark. So there's a little wrestling tie in there.
There you go.
So a lot of Joe Clark stuff is on Tubi. The other one I was in was called The Wedge, and I played a-hole boss in that one as well.
You're getting typecast.
I did. Yeah, that's a little bit earlier than Up on the Wooftop. And before that, I was playing a high school student, a comically old high school student, no lines, just there for the action. In Kung Fu Graffiti.
Okay.
So if you want some Gage Octane funny action,
look up those movies.
The Wedge and Up on the Wooftop.
And I said The Wedge, and I never heard of that one. I missed that somewhere along the way. Yep. But apparently it's a hard R, you said. Hard R.
I don't know. Well,
a lot of male nudity from Gage Octane.
Not the hardest. Like, we're not going deep.
Okay. Okay. Now you're speaking my language here.
There's some language. My character's a little crass.
And it's funny, as I said, The Wedge, man, that's one of my favorite pizza places, and it involves the Wedge Pizza Place. So
and who knows pizza?
The Iowa Pizza King here. Of course, I'm known in a lot of circles as a Pizza King, as they know as well. So interesting times there. So any more acting, voiceover seems to be a thing you're doing pretty often.
I like that a lot. I mean, I like being around the kids, believe it or not.
Kids, watch out.
Love those kids, but I like playing dad these days.
Yeah.
So like the voiceover stuff, it's not a giant commitment to do that.
And you can show up in whatever you want.
You show up whatever you
Just got to have the vocals going.
Yep. So I've done a few things with live theater, Des Moines Playhouse, around the area here. A lot of your viewers might not know that because it's Iowa stuff.
Now, I was very interested because I don't know if you're aware of this. Rex Mathis Elementary. You've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of this.
Yeah,
And as you know, you did the announce a few weeks back. I still to this day hold the 40-yard dash or 50-yard dash record.
Of course
and
you do.
they closed that school down, It's no longer a school. So the record there, and there's a plaque in there with me on there still to this day.
I should have looked for that's where Tallgrass Theater.
That's what. And I remember you doing a play there. And I think I went to one of your plays there once upon a time.
You might have.
This was a long time ago. But
I've
I
done a
remember
few
going
there,
to it.
a bunch there. Yeah.
I forget which one it was, but I wanted to go to see you, of course, but I wanted to go back to my elementary and I could see this. And that's where I saw that. So long story, it's this full circle moment. Love it. But that's it for the deeper dive here. Now we could go on, and we're probably Angie's going to be gone again, so we might have to do a part 2 where we dive into rest of this deeper dive here. But we got other things to get to.
Let's do it.
You're not going to believe it, but we got a special one, and you're going to lead the charge on this a little bit. It's time for Figure of the Week.
Ooh.
Mr. Octane, it's time for Figure of the Week, and I'm starting the precedent right now here. If I ever have a guest, I'm going to let them choose Figure of the Week. Also, they're going to choose the album of the week, and we're going to do that next, so stay tuned to that. But you got apparently a Figure of the Week you wanted to show me and talk about here.
Yeah, this is...
I'm anxious to see what you got exactly.
At the top of my detail, so...
This is your favorite figure?
Favorite figure. It is a G.I. Joe 25th anniversary Duke, man. Yeah.
Are you kidding me with this?
Yeah. Whoa, easy.
Get this out of here.
Kind of snug.
This was going so well. This is going so well.
Kind of a snug
and now
throw
it just went south in a hurry.
I'll tell you what, that was just a joke. I actually have my actual figure here, and this is going to be a deep cut from the WWF
I like this.
Hasbro line. This is going to be Jerry Sags.
Jerry Sags is the Figure of the Week here. Thank goodness that Duke was just a joke, because it gets my blood pressure boiling.
Half hot
gets
there,
me
right?
going right there. But this is an extremely interesting deep cut right here for Figure of the Week of one of your favorite figures. But I am very interested to hear your explanation why Hasbro WWF figure Jerry Sags is one of your favorite figures. And I got a story on the back end. Yeah,
so back in the day when we had our little fig fed, and I'm sure good friends of the show, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast boys, my buddies and I, my buddy Paul Phoenix and I played with wrestling figures probably well into high school.
Yeah.
And to play with these things, like some of them were really difficult to play with, like the jumpers. You're going to do a pile driver with a jumper, maybe a missile drop kick, maybe. How are you going to body slam a jumper? So this dude is like, look at this. You can do everything. And actually, if you don't mind, for instances like this, it's always good. I always have a pocket fig.
Whip it out.
Whip
it out.
Oh.
Who is it?
Here we go. We got the Bret
Hart
Hart. That's right. So, you're playing with your figs, like you want to be able to do stuff. You want to body slam.
Yeah.
You can body slam. You want to give a pile driver, works. You want to, power bomb, that works. Figure, okay, not a figure 4, but you get the point. Arm drags, hip tosses. You can do everything with this guy. So that is why this is probably ounce for ounce.
Whatever, yeah. I know where you're going.
The best. I'd say these two are my top 2 figs, and I wanted to talk about that.
I 100% agree with you with that, and I would say like the Mr. Perfect body is right up there too with like a number 3 or 2.
Yep.
Some of them were just so smooth playing. You felt like you were just really doing it for real, but then you get some of these jumpers. You get a Coco Beware or something like that, and you're just like, you'd use it. Of course you'd use it. You have to use them all. But man, oh man, the Sags absolutely could be the most playable. It has to be the most playable Hasbro figure of all time.
100%. Yeah. Ric Flair, what are you going to do? A hip toss, which is fine. He does that. But what else are you going to do?
That's the most disappointing figure of my entire life, that Ric Flair. I was so excited for Flair, and they gave us that where he had the crazy look, and it was just disappointing. But funny thing about this Jerry Sags here, and stop me if you've heard this before. I don't know if you have, but
no, go on.
As a kid, I collected all the Hasbros. I was knee deep into it. I was getting them all. I was going to Toys R Us, KB, Walmart, Target, Venture, you name it. I was going to all of them trying to find these figures. And obviously on the back, it would have the cross sell. It would show who's in the set. And I'll never forget as a kid seeing the Greg the Hammer Valentine, of course, Rhythm and Blues. And there was no internet back then. And I'm like, why can't I find this Greg Valentine? Why can't I find it? And we never found it. And I'm just like, well, it just never hit. I never got lucky, whatever. Right. There was always figures like that, though. Yeah. He-Man, G.I. Joe, just some guys you just never saw for whatever reason. And I assumed that, and I chalked that up to it. Then I had the same issue with the Nasty Boys. I remember getting the LOD. I got all the other tag teams. Nasty Boys I never saw. And then as a kid, I just remember telling myself, it's just hard to get like the Rhythm and Blues. And then I found out about Greg Valentine actually not existing.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, oh, Nasty Boys got to be the same thing. This is when I got the internet. And then I found out, no, they're actually out there. You could actually get them.
Yeah, man.
So
that's rough.
I think back on my life, and you probably do this too. You think about missed opportunities in your life, times you wasted your life away. And I think a lot about, and I still think about this a lot, is I feel like I missed out on some great playing with the Nasty Boys
totally
as a kid.
Did.
I missed out on so much good stuff.
Go ahead and take him for a spin now if you want. We're live, pal. He's perfect.
It really is. And Knobs ain't bad either. I mean, Knobs is a good one too.
Good, yeah.
He was good too. Not as good, but pretty close.
There are a bunch that are good. These two are maybe the best though. I think.
Where did you remember where you found them at?
No idea. I think
Clinton just coming in hot.
Well, Clinton was tough. Yeah. Like we had the only place I ever found them was Paul's Discount Store, which you may remember from back in the day. Okay. Paul's Discount, it was a Clinton only, but I don't know in your travels. Well, you would have been traveling before they closed.
By bicycle, skateboard.
By bicycle, yeah, exactly. But Paul's Discount would have the figures later than everybody else. I remember Farm and Fleet, which was the Clinton version of Fleet Farm. I think there was two brothers. That's a
whole story. Fallout, huge fallout. But every October they would do their toy aisle thing, and they always had the latest wave of WWF Hasbro. So I would guess that's where I got it. Man, and that it pains me every year I go to these Fleet Farms because we got a few in town now. And I'm always remembering those days. Up in Minnesota is where I would go. And they would have all these toys. Yeah. And now they never have any good toys. Nope. It's like all tractors and cars and just dumb toys. Sorry to offend, but
if you like tractors.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if anybody tractor collectors watching this, but I always think, I'm going to find something, and they never have anything good. Never anything good. It's just hot mess. But I just really think about all the tag matches I could have had as a kid that I was cheated out of because I had to get them much later on.
I mean, come on.
It is amazing.
What are we doing?
Yep.
Look at that.
I love this Bret Hart too. I always felt his face reminded me of a pig, though. He had the weirdest head.
It's not a good head.
And I remember being so excited. Like a lot of times as a kid, there was two Hacksaw Jim Duggins. Mm-hmm. There was two different Shawn Michaels in the single years. And I remember as a kid, I'm not going to buy doubles because I already have it. And you only got so much money to go around. You're collecting a lot of lines. You know about that too.
Yep.
You collect G.I. Joe. You collect Transformers. You collect all that kind of stuff. Now maybe part 2, we'll talk more about all that kind of stuff. We go for days because he's my Transformers guy that I get all my tips from and helps me make my Transformer decisions.
I try.
But I was so excited about Bret Hart, and I picked it up day one when they gave him the better tan. And I was like, this one's so much better looking. So much better looking. So I loved it.
Well, talk about missed opportunities. The only so I have every single figure. I have the green cards on the card. I don't have those loose. Every single figure loose. Mm-hmm. Green cards on the card. I don't have them loose. None of the mailaways.
Oh, okay.
Man, if I knew now, oh my God, then what I know now.
I know. Just pre-COVID, I remember I've been playing the long game on the Taker. That's the one I'm missing. And that's, of course, like the most expensive now.
Yeah.
And I remember I got the Hogan in a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was like with a bunch of doubles. And I ended up selling all the doubles, and it basically paid for the whole thing. So it was one of those deals when you just came up, but those were a lot easier to obtain before COVID.
Now, yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But that Taker, I just don't know. It'd probably be my forever white whale because as much as I like to buy things, I just can't drop like $3,000 on it. I just, as much as I want to, it's like, my kid's probably gonna need a car someday, or maybe go to college. It's like I would love to have them to just complete the collection because I am kind of a completist, but it is almost better. It is almost better to have none of the mail-aways than to have two of the three.
That's it. Totally.
It's like you don't want to get Bret Hart because then you're like, well, now I got to finish it. And now I'm stuck just missing one.
I would honestly be happy with because I love Bret Hart. I would honestly be happy with I don't even have the purple heart Bret Hart that I know that's the same figure. You'd have to get it sealed to know for sure. But maybe that's attainable. The rest of them.
And we could talk Joes, we could talk Transformers, and we'll do that one of these days here. But I always find it interesting because you do collect the Superstars line.
I do.
But being a wrestling fan, being a professional wrestler, you don't really dive into the wrestling figures at all.
No,
it's interesting.
I don't at all. Like, I think what it is I'm big on nostalgia. That's what really, really gets me. So like these guys were what my buddy Paul and I played with all the time in middle school, into high school. I have a deep nostalgic tie to these guys, and I've never gotten rid of them. I've actually went and got the rest of them that I was missing. There was like a Coco Beware at the time that was really hard to find. I think those green cards I got for like $40 each or something like that way back in the day after I was done playing with them. But I was like, I'm not opening these. I'm just going to keep them.
And I never saw the green cards at stores. Until the internet came, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
So I'm big on the retro looking. I don't go outside of like Mattel though. Mattel, Hasbro. I don't go outside. Like I know Zombie's got some awesome figures that are like, I'm like, I can't do that because then you got to go off to the next one and the next one. There's so many. So I think I don't collect like the larger Mattel ones because of the nostalgic like tie. I don't have that with them. I don't have any LJNs because I didn't ever play with those as a kid.
Well, and here's a crazy story. Just like this is like a year ago. You remember this when you found that estate sale?
Oh my God. Yeah, I was like, hey, any of these worth anything?
Are you joking to me? But like you kind of knew, but you didn't know.
I didn't know.
No.
Like I knew that there was like this guy. I don't remember seeing this guy a lot.
So who was in that lot? So he goes to the estate sale. Tell him what you bought and what you found at this estate sale. This is like a year ago or a year and a half ago.
It could have been 4 years ago. We were just talking about time, right? I don't know. No, the Sergeant Slaughter,
the mail away,
the Rick Rude.
Yep.
And I think there was a few others that I passed on. I don't even like a George the Animal Steel maybe or something. Like it was a picture of a bunch, and you're like, get these two for sure.
Yes.
And I think it was $10 and $50, but they were like 50 was on the least. I can't remember.
It was weird.
They were flipped around. I was like,
and I thought it was a joke. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, and two of the hardest to find ones, and that Slaughter, if this would have been like, I got the Slaughter 7 years ago. It was the only one I was missing. Okay. I kept telling myself, it's technically a G.I. Joe. It's technically not LGN. So that's how I justified it. I actually won it in a $5 raffle.
Oh my
That's
God.
A story for another day. But I don't know what I would have done. If I wouldn't have won that, I would have been all over you. I'd like, we would have came to a deal somewhere.
Oh yeah. For sure. It would have been what I paid for it probably. Because you could have said, pick that up for me. It's worth $10.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I would have kept that one now because like you say, I'm a G.I. Joe guy and I kind of kicked myself. But at the time I was like, like kids could eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a mortgage payment coming up.
That was wild. I could not believe. So there's still sales like that. They're few and far between, but there's still opportunities for that on stuff like that. So
So yeah, like the Superstars, that tugs at the nostalgic heartstrings. I don't. Other than like Bray, I think they've been doing almost.
For the most part.
I mean, there's a Ray.
It sounds like I saw a few leaked photos today. It sounds like a Rocky Maivia might be on the way.
Okay.
And maybe even like a final boss rock, a more recent rock.
I'm out on that one.
It'll be interesting to see where that goes. But
okay, I'll get it.
We'll see. We'll find out more at San Diego Comic-Con here in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
We'll see what happens there. But there it is. That is the figure of the week. Jerry Sags, of all things, of the Nasty Boys. But now it's time for you to do another one. It's time for the album of the week. All right, it's time for album of the week, and this is usually where I just get some old country western music or maybe some heavy metal, but we're taking a big U-turn here, but there is a wrestling connection. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but Mr. Octane, what is the album of the week?
Yeah, nothing says metal like the Crash Test Dummies.
Crash Test Dummies.
This is, and I'm not kidding, I'm not joking here. This is my favorite band of all time.
Of all time.
This is my favorite album of all time. God Shuffled His Feet. It came out in the 90s, I think.
Yeah, so now this would be their most popular album for sure.
Oh, 100%.
For sure. And this was, they had a huge hit if you were a kid watching MTV back in the day. I mean, it was on all the time, of course. And you want to tell them what it was?
There was this kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, they're still together. They're still touring. You're going to talk about that here in a second. But how and why did this become your favorite album of all time?
I think the lyrics, the songs are all really good. They're all really catchy, but the lyrics that like Brad Roberts writes for all of the songs are so ridiculous and a lot of funky, like what's he talking about? It's not comedy, but it's kind of comedy sometimes. But I don't know. I think that's all it was.
I'm a big fan of a band called Ween. I don't know if you know the band Ween, but they're very kind of comedic in a lot of elements too. I think very similar to this. And I'm by no means a Crash Test Dummies expert or anything like that. Right. But I know you're a Weird Al fan too, so it's kind of in that same.
Huge Weird Al.
You just saw him not too long ago.
Just saw him not too long ago. Yeah, big Weird. I would say Crash Test Dummies, Weird Al. Fun connection there. Ellen Reed of Crash Test Dummies plays accordion on a lot of the stuff.
Okay.
And there are only two people I trust to play an accordion properly, and that's Ellen Reed and
makes sense. And I don't know if I told you I actually play the accordion, and I'll show you some moves later.
Sweet.
Yep, of
I'd
course.
love to learn.
But you saw the Crash Test Dummies last summer, I think, wasn't it?
It was not. Yeah, it was not that long ago. In
4 years
Iowa City.
ago.
No, now that one really wasn't that long ago. Yeah, we saw them in Iowa City. We ended up. It was a great show. The whole band minus from this era. Benjamin Darville.
There's a girl in the band too, isn't there?
Yeah, Ellen Reed. Yep. Yeah. I'm Facebook friends with Ellen Reed, and she likes some of my posts.
Oh my gosh.
So there.
Well, you're Facebook friends with me too, so he's playing all the hits.
You don't like my posts though.
I will start.
Okay, thanks. No, we ended up. We brought the kids. Kids went to this first concert, I think.
Wow.
And brought them, and we ended up staying in the same hotel as Brad Roberts, the lead singer, and Ellen Reed. And they got in the elevator after the show. We walked back from the venue, and with them, they got in the elevator and we're like, oh, they probably want and she's like, get in here. Well, us and the kids. So we're like just fanboying out in the corner. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Well, I'm sure they were pretty touched because, I mean, it's not like they're, whoever, huge, they're not Taylor Swift. So
yeah, not Taylor Swift. Yeah, it's like, exactly.
So it's like they have more of a connection with their fans, I think, than the Taylor Swifts of the world. Yeah,
it's funny, like how into the show, maybe it's not funny. It makes sense that everybody that was there was into the show and they're singing along and all that kind of stuff.
And there's something about that, like you get passionate fans. And I think if I was a performer, I'd rather have a smaller group of passionate fans than a giant group. I mean, obviously the money's a little different, I'm sure. But there's something special about that. There's a lot of bands I like that are kind of the same avenue as that. But there is a wrestling connection.
Okay, hit me, because this I don't know.
Now I can't remember. I think it's the lead singer. Now, what's his name again?
Brad Roberts.
Okay. Now, Winnipeg, I believe.
Uh-huh.
He was a guitar teacher once upon a time.
Oh, yeah.
And he taught a professional wrestler you know all too well that you probably...
Oh, wait a minute. You might have told me
I think I told you this long ago.
Go ahead. Is it Chris Jericho?
So he was Chris Jericho's guitar teacher when Chris Jericho started out as a little kid.
Oh my god!
What a small world! And then
now I remember. See, hitting the head.
And I heard that on Jericho's podcast like many years ago, and he like was talking about like obviously Jericho made it and stuff, and like he came back and like he forgot all about Jericho or something like that.
That's funny.
But it's funny, Winnipeg and all that whole connection there. It's once again a small world. You never know what you're going to get yourself into right there. So. Anything else on the Crash Test Dummies? You going to see them again anytime soon? They touring anytime soon?
They're touring right now, I think in Europe or Australia or something. But
you're not going to make any of those shows, I'm guessing.
No, not going to make those. But I would love to see them again.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
I'd like to see them in Canada because they're that's where they were giant in Canada.
So, Canada, I don't know how familiar you are. One thing I'm really knowledgeable about is radio practices in Canada of how this works.
Okay.
I don't know. Wow. I don't know if you knew this, but
no. It's a different podcast now. All right.
Yes, there is laws in Canada because Canada, a close-knit community. Shout out to my Canadian friends out there.
Good day.
They have to, so like on the radio, MTV, or Much Music up there, of course.
Sure.
Every like fourth video or song on the radio, it might even be third, has to be a Canadian artist.
Very nice.
And that is why bands like the Crash Test Dummies got big up there in Canada. Obviously they're from Canada, so they're going to be bigger, but obviously Canada doesn't have quite the push as America and Los Angeles and stuff to like, they're pushing Guns N' Roses hard. You're not going to have a Guns N' Roses out of Canada really. So they had to play these bands like Crash Test Dummies every couple of songs, and that's what got them a little bit more famous and helped them not to get lost in the shuffle, because you could see some radio guy in Canada, well, I'm going to play Poison, I'm going to play Guns N' Roses, all these ones, and England bands and stuff, and Canada gets lost in the shuffle. So that's one of those bands that helped project.
Well, and could it also be that they just happened to write good music?
Well, that too, but
only like we only know that's okay. That's one thing I'll say. I'll plug these guys. They have like 10 studio albums, maybe more than that. Yep. Go check them out. Like Spotify, I think a lot of it's on Spotify.
I'm sure. Amazon
Ellen Reed has her own thing, Cinderella. It's awesome. Check it out.
There's a lot. So little Canada, deep rock. I guess we call them rock. I guess you call them rock.
Yeah, like what do they call it? Adult contemporary or something like that? That sounds like
I guess it
sounds
sounds
kind of.
It sounds kind of like Kenny G and stuff. Adult contemporary.
Yeah, that doesn't quite fit. They were folky for a while. Maybe their first album.
Folk metal. No,
folk
not
metal.
Quite,
yeah.
But definitely a voice you'll never forget when you hear it once.
No, I would check out Crash Test Dude as well. That was when Brad Roberts was going around by himself. He does covers of a bunch of stuff. Hit Me Baby One More Time, a bunch of stuff. So
now, did this ever make you want to collect the Crash Test Dummy action figures?
Oh, man.
Have you thought about linking those together?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad. I've had worse. All right. Well, there it is, album of the week. And now our next one is Gabe.
Government names.
I broke it.
Hey, I've done it enough. You're allowed.
Luckily, it's at the end of the podcast, so maybe people won't do. Maybe I'll edit that over.
Yeah.
But now, Gage
Social
Octane.
Security number is.
That's right. But now, Gage Octane, it's time for some final thoughts. All right, Mr. Octane, it's time for some final thoughts. And of course, Angie will be back next week. I think, you never know though. She got to Philadelphia okay, but can she get home okay? That's the question. So if she doesn't make it home, you're back in the saddle. You better clear your schedule.
I'll hop right into the pool and I'll be ready for you. Straight out of the pool.
Be ready, of course. But we got a few final thoughts here as we close out the show, close out this episode. But I did reach out to my Patreon. And shout out to all the Patreon members out there. Your best way to support the channel, to support the podcast. You get early edition of all the videos from both YouTube channels, and you get early video of this very podcast. Appreciate the support out there. But I said, hey, Mr. Octane, Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane is going to be in as a co-host. Does anybody have some questions for him?
Wow.
And I got a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
So we're going to start it off right here. Steve Wingfield asked, what is your favorite match you have had? And what is your favorite match of all time? So your favorite match you wrestled in, but you're also your favorite match to watch or you've ever seen.
Favorite match I wrestled in. Oh man, Jerry Lynn. It has to be Jerry. I loved Perry, working with Perry, but Jerry, where David was my manager. That was just we did a little bit of everything.
And he was in multiple shows, wasn't he?
Yeah, I wrestled him a couple of times.
Because he's from the area somewhat. I mean, you'd say he's also a Midwest legend, but I don't know about a Midwest professional wrestling legend. But he's a legend.
Legend for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
Jerry was great. That's what I would say for favorite match of mine that I had. Favorite match of all time, WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Just because I was there. We sat in the 6th row, watched him bleed all over the place, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So that's what comes to the top of my mind.
There you go. Second question from Kyle Campy. Hey Kyle, I'm not a big on the WWE, so I don't know if this is gonna. We'll see.
Okay, let's
play along.
See what we got. Yeah, I'll play along.
But I'm always curious to understand how they prepare their retirement. Like, do they make enough money during their wrestling life so they can stop and enjoy the life, or needs to keep working on the personal marketing, toys, healthy products, etc.? So you can kind of answer that. I mean, did you have a 401k? Or were you
the 3XW 401k? Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
You were preparing for life after wrestling.
Totally. Putting it all away. The hot dogs.
All this money isn't going to last forever, is what you were saying.
I can't keep buying limousine rides to and from.
You used to drive that Bugatti. It was awesome.
Oh, man, I love that.
That was so nice. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
In the garage.
In the garage in the mansion out in Miami.
That's what I thought.
I would say, obviously, there's not a, believe it or not, there's not a lot of money in independent professional wrestling. There can be now with there's a lot of people making money on the indies.
There's a lot of between merch stand and there's a lot of things all together that all is a bunch of crumbs make crumb cake, as Matt Cardona says.
Absolutely.
You can do. It's a different era now than it was when you were in your heyday.
I would say though, preparing for my retirement, it was a short little story here. My very first match down at the Funkin' Conservatory that we did in front of a crowd, I had the exact same match for my final match. It was a tag team match. It was me and Paul Phoenix against beautiful Brent Fillmore and Brian Ash. And I worked it out at the end of my time with 3XW. They let me write my own farewell. So I had a tour where I'd wrestle each of these guys or a couple one. And it culminated in that final 2-on-2 tag team match. And I was like, I have to do this. The first match and the last match are identical.
And then like every wrestler ever comes back, or every musician ever says, I'm done and I'm coming
done,
back.
no more.
Ozzy just did it last weekend. Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
I saw the final tour and I knew it wouldn't be over, but they came back one last time. So
always get you for more.
Good for you. And you got one more in you anyway. So we'll be documenting that. It'll be like Rocky training montages, get you back in ring shape. I think it would be a good video series for the channel.
Just
so we
me
might
sweat my ass off on a Peloton.
Come on, and I'll be sitting there, smoking a cigarette, and come on, you got more in you.
Come on, baby.
We'll see. But last question from good friend of the channel, host of the TV Toycast, Breaker. Now, Breaker is a Harley guy, and then he was after you though. And then he went to NXT. So shout out to Breaker.
Very cool.
He was at Harley after you, so I don't know if you guys. I don't think you guys crossed paths. I don't think so. Brian Breaker, does it ring a bell?
It does.
I don't think so. So I think it was after. You're much older than him.
Then it was. I was out of there. Yeah.
But he said, so during my time at Harley School, I met quite a cast of interesting characters. Any memories or stories from anyone you met during your time with the boss? And he's not talking about Bruce Springsteen. He's talking about Harley, of course.
Oh my gosh!
And tell us about BJ.
Tell us about. No, we're not going there. There were a lot of interesting characters. Harley, I have a really funny Harley story. Funny in my head.
Yeah.
But when he would come down he would like watch you train. At the time that I was training, up part of that, he was in like a full, looked like a turtle shell, like back brace, because he'd had back surgery or broken his back or something. So he would still walk it. He wouldn't get in the ring or anything, but he would walk down there. And I was putting somebody in a headlock, and he goes, "Come on down here, kid." And I came down there, and he's like, "Now, if you put somebody in a headlock and you want to, if they're it's getting a little squirrely on you, you got to turn your arm around. Come here." And I was like, "Oh my God, okay." And he put me in the hardest effing headlock that I've ever been in. And I was like, my God. So almost crippled, and he's putting me on the floor. Oh my God.
Hey, can you imagine like 30 years younger doing that?
That's true. Yeah, exactly. He may remember, there was a dude, I wish I could remember his name. He would try to blow you up at the beginning of class, every class. And we always got the tryout classes because we had to go down on the weekends. We were all in college. So we'd go down there, and he would smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. And then he would run you through a marathon of jumping jacks and hold your legs up and all this. And I remember him one time, I don't remember the dude's name, but maybe it's this guy. I don't know. We were doing the gimmick where you're on your back and you're holding your legs up, and keep your legs up, you stupid. Keep your legs. And he would stand up on your stomach.
Oh.
And he got to this one guy, and oh boy, he must have had some chili the night before, but it was like human whoopee cushion as soon as he stepped on his stomach. Oh my God. That was we all lost it then. And he couldn't even.
Yeah.
He couldn't stop.
You also do a pretty good Harley impression.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Best in sports. Can we get it?
Best in sports. Baby.
Best in sports. Yep. But that's a quick Q&A there. So that was some interesting thoughts from the mind of one Gage Octane.
Hey, there's some in there.
There it is. There's a few clooking around, but
somewhere in there.
Well, there's a lot going on. This is quite the episode for the ages, the first ever co-host, the first ever guest on the show. A lot of people say, Kyle, when are you going to have more guests? When are you going to have other things? And I said, unless I could do it in person, I don't want to do it. There's something about just being here side by side instead of looking through a screen. It's just weird. But obviously, it limits your guests. It limits your guests. But
true.
I'm working hard to get my dad as a guest. He said he's got to. He said he's got to clip his dog's toenails, though, whenever we film. So it's like that always takes precedent. And that dog, claws, apparently. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get my dad one of these days here. And who knows who else we get. I'm going to have to power with you and think of somebody else as well. Yeah, but we're going to have to do part 2 here because I want to talk about G.I. Joe. I want to talk about Transformers.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a few more wrestling stories. So we're going to have a part 2. And Angie, I think, is gone here in like 4 weeks or something like that.
Perfect.
She travels and does her thing. So
see you later.
We might have to do this again. We'll do a part 2. So we're going to be there. We'll get more questions for you. It's going to be, and maybe we could dive into the wedge a little bit more. I think I might talk, or I might watch that movie, and then I can give you my review of your performance.
That would be great.
And I think that. We'll rate it or hate it is one of the segments on here, and we're going to talk if I rate it or hate it. And
I'm trying to think if there's a clip you could show.
Well, we're going to be
with some bleeps or something. I don't know.
We're going to be brutally honest, and we're going to review this one, so we'll get that. So
that works.
Much more on that in the future. But before we finish up, once again, make sure you put a review in for the podcast. Of course, wherever you get your podcast, give it a 5-star review, screenshot it. send it to me at thekylepetersonshow@gmail.com. And you could possibly win this in the next episode. We will pull a name out of the hat, of course. And of course, make sure you just give it a 5-star review no matter what you do on the podcast. Check it out on YouTube as well. A lot going on. Once again, got to thank DJC Collectibles. Discount code 8OFFDJC for supporting the channel. And if you want to be a sponsor of the channel or you want to sponsor him, hey, if you want a voiceover actor, you want an actor, you want something, reach out to me and we'll get you in contact with Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And he can do a voiceover for you just like he does for me here. So you never know. You never know. And then Angie's supposedly back next week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
there you go.
Once again, Mr. Octane, we appreciate you coming here. Beautiful to have you. We'll do this again.
Thanks, pal. Ooh, brother, right there. Thanks, pal.
And we'll be in touch. So until next time, see you guys all real soon.
What, are we going to dance or are we going to play?